is opening up. It's called the Apex.
Yes.
It's a brand new 3-level indoor go-kart track.
Come on.
Dude, 3 levels. On top of that, they've got bowling, which is awesome, and they have multiple golf simulators. And I'm wondering if they gave Kyle Larson his choice. Hey, Kyle, would you be good at any of these?
Or all of them.
Or all of them. He chose go-karts, which is kind of cheating, but we'll accept it. It is NASCAR champion, Elk Grove's own, a son of the 916, Kyle Larson. Kyle, it's Dave. That's Jason. Good morning.
Hey, how are you guys?
Great.
When was the last time you raced go-karts?
Oh, gosh. Probably not as long ago as you'd think. I mean, I think I've done some, like, charity events or team events with go-karts like this place. So I'm looking forward to it, though. It sounds like a state-of-the-art facility and be my first time seeing it. So excited to get there and turn some laps.
You know, I think, what was it? Days of Thunder is one of the racing movies, and like the guy was like a big champion and all that, but then he like went back to his roots, and I don't know if it was trucks or sprint cars or something, and the movie was trying, I think it was Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise, is trying to lay in, like, you know, you still have those roots no matter how successful you are. Could you still have fun on a tiny track with 500 people in the audience if that's what it was? Do you still have that base love you started having growing up in Elk Grove for racing, or has it become more of a job for you now?
No, I mean, I still love racing. I go back to my roots all the time. I race more dirt track stuff than I do NASCAR. You know, like I race at Placerville every now and then, Silver Dollar Speedway. I just raced in Florida 2 nights ago, so on the dirt track stuff. So I still really enjoy it and love getting back to my roots. And there's probably not another driver in the country that races more than I do. So it doesn't really feel like going back to my roots. It's just part of my life and in my racing career still at this point.
Kyle Larson joining us. All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. So kind of all around that thought, Kyle, is there anything in the sport of racing that you haven't done, haven't tried, that you go, you know what, I still got to give that a run before I'm done?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of races and types of cars that I haven't ran yet, but one cool one that we just announced a couple weeks ago is I'm gonna run in the Indy 500, not this year, but next year. So wow. For McLaren, and really excited about that. So it's been a dream of mine to run that event, and yeah, would love to go there and win one for the dirt guys.
My dad is listening right now. He's been a NASCAR guy, a racing guy his whole life, grew up racing motorcycles on the East Coast, and he's always trying to get me to watch more and more and more racing. It really is his passion. So I'm going to ask you what's probably a dumb rookie question, but honestly, I'm curious. NASCAR, F1, Indy, like in layman's terms, what are the biggest differences, obviously, between all three?
Well, I mean, I've only competed in NASCAR. I haven't competed in Formula One or IndyCar, but I've been to each event. I went to Abu Dhabi in 2021 for the finale there. I've been to some IndyCar races, some Indy 500s. But I would say it's way different. It's honestly hard to compare. IndyCar and Formula One are probably more similar. Mm-hmm. The technology in Formula One is immense. Those cars are the budgets for those race teams are 10 times the amount of what we have. So kind of unlimited funds there, but the racing style is a lot different in NASCAR compared to those. We do a lot of oval track racing in NASCAR. I think we have 6 or 7 road course races now, but I probably have a bias because I race NASCAR, but to me, the racing in NASCAR, it doesn't get any more exciting than that, compared to the other 2 series you mentioned. There's 20 or more teams that could win every event, where like Formula One, there's probably 2 to 4 teams. It's either going to be Ferrari or Mercedes at this point. And then IndyCar, I think there's probably more too, but the fields are a lot smaller. So the racing seems to get strung out a little bit more, but it's all exciting. I hope to someday get the opportunity compete, full time in all of it would be pretty cool. But
Wow.
I just love all forms of racing.
What's been, I guess, as you expand and you said Indy next year, what's been the most taxing on you? What, like on your body? What's the most physically taxing of all those?
Mm, I don't know. It all kind of depends on the track that you're at. A sprint car. So I race a lot of dirt sprint car stuff, and I would say those cars get your heart rate up the most. I would say none. I mean, I'm a small guy, so none of them are really that physical. Like you don't need big arms and big muscles to steer these things. But I think coping with the intensity of your heart rate getting up, and then in a stock car, a NASCAR, the heat is major. In the middle of the summer, our cars will be 150 plus degrees inside, so we're basically cooking and sweating a lot. So it's hard to keep your body hydrated and stuff. So honestly, I would probably have to say a NASCAR stock car would be the most physically challenging, only from the heat standpoint of it.
How much weight do you lose generally? Is it a set amount? And do you have to, whether it's Pedialyte, Gatorade? I mean, obviously, I know every racer ever has been asked, how do you pee? But honestly, is there a science that goes into your pre and during hydration?
Yeah, I mean, you just I try and just drink as much fluid as I can throughout the week just to be on top of it for the weekend. And then, yeah, I mean, during the race, you're sweating, so you're trying to keep up with that and not get dehydrated, but it's difficult at times. And, but then there's also times, early in the year or late when it's cooler out that you don't sweat at all. So it's not too tough, but the summer is difficult. I've only weighed myself before and after once in my career. It was for the Southern 500 a long time ago at Darlington, and it was really hot. And, you keep track of how much fluid you drink throughout the race. And I think my net loss, and I only weigh 135 pounds, but my net loss was like 6 pounds, where, a bigger guy who holds more fluid, I've heard of like Ryan Newman and guys like that losing close to 20 pounds in a race. So it's definitely draining, but we think we all do a little bit better job than guys before us, did to stay, physically ready and hydrated.
Hearing you talk, Kyle, obviously you do this you enjoy it, you compete, you're trying all sorts of things. What gives you the biggest thrill? I mean, an obvious answer seems to win, but you like the challenge seemingly of different tracks, different cars, different styles. What gives you the most joy out of the sport?
Well, yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, I think winning for sure. But I think besides that, like you also said, the challenge of just trying to push yourself to get better. And I put myself in a lot of challenging situations by racing so many different types of cars. I race the cup car, sprint car, dirt late model, midget, pavement, dirt, all that stuff is really challenging. And I think putting myself in uncomfortable situations ultimately makes me get better, but it's also, I get a lot of enjoyment out of succeeding and figuring it out and ultimately winning a race. So, and then just driving. I mean, driving in general is a lot of fun. It's kind of, in a way, my getaway. Like I golf too, but I also, spend my time like getting away from the craziness of a NASCAR season by going to the dirt track and racing.
You get a chance to, whether it's now or when you lived here, any courses stand out for you here locally that you either still enjoy or enjoyed growing up?
So I never golfed while I lived in California. Yeah, I didn't pick up golf until like 8 years ago. So I'd already been out of California. But yeah, I don't know if I really played too many courses out there because
not as easy as driving a vehicle 200 miles an hour, is it, Kyle?
Golf is way harder than racing. So
wow.
That's I think that's what keeps me going back to that too, is the challenge of you're always just mad at how you're playing. So
yes,
you're never satisfied.
We saw you, I think, it was earlier this year. You were at a Kings game. You still following the Kings' success this year?
I have been this year because they've been playing really well. So I haven't gotten to watch too many games because it's just difficult with where I'm at. But I check, where they're at in the standings and stuff, and it's pretty amazing to see, how well they're doing. So they play so I just bought a place here in Arizona, and they play the Suns here in a couple weeks or a few weeks, maybe a month or so. So I'm going to go to that and check it out. And that'll be my first time watching the Kings in a little while.
Well, we can ship you out some Light the Beam merch. I know they're really careful about logos and stuff in your world, but maybe maybe wear it under the shirt or something for good luck. We need all the help we can get pushing for these playoffs, man.
Heck yeah, no doubt, no doubt. They're, like I said, they're doing great. So I know my dad's pumped. He's a massive Sacramento Kings fan. He's probably got the same hat as you on right now. So yeah, it's been fun following along.
All right. Lastly, want to remind everybody that Kyle's out here. A, it's his home, and B, helping Red Hawk open up the Apex, brand new 3-level indoor golf cart track. Also, golf simulators, which it sounds like Kyle might try out as well. Bowling, so much more going on at Red Hawk, and we got to get out there ourselves. Last question for you, since I brought it up earlier. What do you have a favorite racing movie that you enjoy? Apparently, by the way, the movie I was quoting was Talladega Nights. I was told, so yeah.
I would say Days of Thunder, probably my favorite. So it's just like Talladega Nights would be my least favorite, just because I feel like it's made a joke of our sport. So and everybody quotes that movie and thinks that we're all like that. So but Days of Thunder, it really showcases kind of how intense racing is. And Tom Cruise, he did come from like the sprint car ranks and then got to NASCAR. So it's more similar to my path.
We can go to the hospital and fix your head there, or we can fix it now. What's it going to be? I don't know why that's always what I quote. It's well done. Thank you. Days of Thunder, for those of you who haven't seen it, Tom Cruise and friends. Kyle Larson, for those of you, I'm sure you've all seen him race. Always proud of the 916. Kyle, we appreciate you. Don't be a stranger, and good luck on this upcoming season.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks a bunch.
All right, you take care. That is Kyle Larson. And
man, imagine showing up at Apex and you're racing him in go-karts.